For a VR experience, I selected The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. This is a first-person survival horror game where the player has to navigate a post-apocalyptic world, looting for supplies, interacting with friendly survivors, and making meaningful decisions, all while fighting off hordes of the undead and hostile human factions. I chose this experience based on some of its conceptual and technical ideas. It has a very innovative inventory system which is simple yet engaging for the player. The player has a backpack where they can store items by simply reaching over their shoulder and dropping items on their back. The backpack can be accessed by performing the same motion in reverse, where they can easily sort through their items. The player can also store weapons on their back and hips, as well as access their journal and flashlight from their chest. This is a very immersive approach to dealing with the player's inventory in a game setting. Instead of having to access any menus, all the player interaction in regards to their inventory is done by performing motions as if the items are on the player's person. These are just simple motions akin to grabbing something out of your pocket, but they help to make the player feel as though they are actually carrying the items and taking them out, which creates a more engaging experience. I chose the inventory system of this game as my example specifically because it's a very clever way of making the most of VR technology. Instead of having the player sort through various menus like they would in most non-VR games, the act of accessing the inventory is all done through physical interactions, which helps to engage the player in the experience. From this experience, I can take away the importance and impact that something such as small movements can have on the player's engagement. By simply turning what would normally be a list of items in a menu into the player grabbing and storing items on their person, the interaction feels much more realistic. If we could incorporate something similar into our own VR projects, where there are subtle movements mimicking the action of performing it in the real world, this could increase the immersion within the spectator.